about 10 or 20% less than it was yesterday. Now, some news reporters are apparently might be a Mexico element to this situation. Is she in Mexico? Who knows? I don't even know what to think anymore, because there's so much conflicting information about, some local reporters talking about burglary gone bad, other ones targeted. This is targeted. She's still alive. The consensus in this chat is she's not alive. I posted 2 pictures earlier today about the border, because if she goes through the port of entry, all that's documented. You go through the port of entries at numerous southern port of entries in Arizona, and you're going through all types of camera systems, and probably stopped by Mexico authorities just to ask what's going on. Definitely vice versa going. Dom C, appreciate your continued coverage. I feel like we are there with you. God bless. And praying Nancy comes home. Let's find where the neighbor coffee group meets and go. TMW. I think it's up. I never knew that, but I think it's up the road by the Starbucks. But I want to take you back to the border, because I think the border is very interesting, with the border theory. The border theory has me wondering something. If you're going to go through the port of entry, you're going to be seen. But there's numerous places just outside the port of entry in just Nogales alone. Now, the southern border has so many different routes to get to, so many different ways. You go the Sassabee Way, Lukeville Way, Yuma Way, Naco Way, through Sierra Vista. Oh, it's raining. Hear it? Laura, with a bunch of letters and numbers. Y5Q3C. Thank you. But I shared this on Twitter because there was 2 spots. Just this spot here is just west of the port of entry in Nogales. And I shared this because I think it's very important to know that as of 2 years ago, now this thing could all be plugged up now, but what happens is over the course of time, even when they plugged up the wall, cartel and different organizations through the walls and break through the walls and bust through the walls. And avoid the port of entry in and out of the United States. And when I say sneaking in and out, I've actually witnessed people sneak in, and I've also witnessed people sneak out through these areas, these breaches of the wall. Now this is literally 2 miles to the west of the Nogales port of entry. Brenda Jacobs says there was something in the middle of the night about a grave site with a shovel next to it. Mark was on live. Grave site. We'll talk about that too. I heard about those things, the grave site. But I want to talk about the port of entry, because if this is a Mexico element, you can literally, and even to get to this location, it's very easy. There are roads that take you to the side before the port of entry, because you go down the port of entry, you're going to go through all types of mass security and everything like that, cameras, lighting. It's like there's speed bumps and it's dun-dun, and, you know, checkpoints and whatnot. But there's roads to the side that will take you literally here in your vehicle. In your vehicle. And you can go there and you can literally stop your vehicle, get out, which I've seen on the other side them do, and just cross through the border wall. Now, we have the Trump administration now. Who knows if they sealed it? We should go check out. Maybe tomorrow, if nothing's popping off here or anywhere, maybe we'll go back and look. But if this is like organized, if this is like, you know, News Nation's talking about, you know, possible link to Mexico, but they're pushing back on the cartel. Well, it's not cartel. We're not saying it's cartel. But if it's organized between people to say, hey, we're going to target, and I'm just coming up with a theory here, you know, speculation. If it's, yeah, I think take her across the border wall, and then someone on the other side puts her in a vehicle and she's off to Mexico. And you can avoid the port of entry. You can avoid, at night, it is pitch black out here. It's pitch black. Now, that's one location. That's just west of the port of entry. I also, and I've been putting these tweets out, on the east side of the port of entry, in Keno Springs, there is also dirt roads that take you to the border wall. But on that particular side, there is no border wall. This is just a few miles east of Nogales. And they use these, I don't know even what these is. I call them cross. But you could literally, that's a dirt road that literally you could take it from the main road to the dirt road and literally cross over. You could literally cross over. It is scary because it's not secure at all. I mean, at one point in Keno Springs, the wall comes to an end. And anybody in vehicles can just drive there. I did it. And not only that, not only what was crazy. Now, this was 2 years ago. It's 2024. Things have changed, obviously. But not only that, but I was sitting down there straddling the border, put one foot on the other side, saying, hey, you know, I'm half in Mexico, half in the United States. But I was down there for hours and I didn't see one border patrol. Might be stretched thin. RLFINLA. Finla. RL Finla. Always see you in the chat. Nice to see you. Thank you. Is there a Mexican element to this situation? People are saying head down there. We will. There's two things that we'll do, and I vowed. Not only that, but down on the border wall they had like water jugs and everything. It's crazy. Now that's just in Nogales, which is pretty much, if you would say that Nancy came out of this home here, put in a vehicle, someone took her up on the Interstate 10, probably, maybe. We're going on that theory. Shoot down 19, go past Rio Rico, get to Nogales, don't go through the port of entry. Now, she very well could have went through the port of entry, too. But I think you would be detected that way. Unless they had her in a trunk and the trunk didn't get searched or no one gets searched. But Some people in the chat are like, no Mexico. No Mexico at all. I app you feeding the dogs in Eagle Pass. Arizona's a different ball game than the border in Texas, by the way. It's Wild West. We actually... It was crazy because the Sheriff Nanos gave a press conference about that Border Patrol shooting in Arivaca, just before Nancy Guthrie went missing. The sheriff actually gave a press conference, and we were talking about that place, which is a little bit more west than Nogales, but that's another option to sneak in and out of the Mexico undetected. You just go there. It's called the No More Death Camps. It's 15 minutes east of Sassabee. It's between Sassabee and Nogales. It's Wild West out there. No Border Patrol out there. At time, years ago, things could change. Don't know. We should go down there. I have a feeling if we drive around down there by the border wall, we'll probably get guns drawn on us by Border Patrol and stuff like that. They're not playing around. But we should see, because if it's that easy to go there and that easy to see... But the problem is I don't think we can live stream there because the reception is horrible. I think I've done a live stream there before. In Nogales. But it comes, comes in and out. So here's the current scene right now. In front of Nancy Guthrie's home. Pat, thank you. And this is what we're looking at. Rain. So I'm going to look at flight radar a minute and see how long the rain is going to last. So it appears like one of the media outlets is going to go down there and talk about prescription medications. Because, we've been hearing with Nancy that she needs much needed medication, which we don't know which medication she took, in order to stay alive. In Mexico, you could probably get all types of medications here, really cheap, undetected. People have asked in the chat, said how much supply of medication has Nancy had at the time she vanished? When was the last time she filled her medication? Or is this Mexico stuff just a bunch of hogwash? Another thing that's crazy is I went by Luke Daly's house today, 2 miles away. That's the guy that they had detained. And he literally has no trespassing signs at his house now. Remember this home? Look at this. No trespassing signs planted in front of Luke Daly's house. That's the guy's house. And there also was lights all over the house on. I went there this morning. He got a lawyer, just like Carlos. Total denial. Saying that they are not involved. They deny all allegations. It appears the reason why they went to Carlos was because they got warrants, right, to go to their homes. But it's so crazy with those two is the lawyers are now saying that they can't even get access to the warrants that they used to search their home. Meaning, most of the time, and most Americans, when you have your home searched with a warrant, the authorities give you a warrant letting you know what they're searching, the warrant signed by the judge about the search. Well, in this particular case, both people, they're not being provided the warrant. Is that crazy or what? They're not being provided the warrant. But it appears it has something to do with their cell phone pings in the area. Check the map for the area of the wall that is most likely Indian reservation land. They don't want a wall here. There, yes. If you go, do not take any poo-poos, guns. I don't have guns anyway. They are illegal on Indian reservation. Well, not only that, my Avatech, here's the Indian reservation. It's just west of Sassabee. I'll just show it. Name it right here. Hold on. Where am I? It's a big one. And it actually, there is no wall there. The problem is you're on Indian reservation land and you're subjected to their laws. It's the Tohono O'odham Nation Reservation. It's between pretty much Lukeville, Sassabee, Lukeville and Sassabee. It's a giant chunk of land. It's off of highway. What highway is this? Because I took it through, but I never went to. It's Sells, where Sells is. Sells. But when I went down to Lukeville, I stayed in a little town called AO, like AJO, and you have to cross that. But if you get caught out there filming and stuff like that, they will literally detain you. Not Border Patrol, but their local police there. So it's not, to me, it's not wise to go on an Indian reservation or Native American reservation filming. But that is another spot where someone can have access to get over across the border into Mexico, because they don't have walls there. For some reason, when we hear the border is secure, that's not necessarily true, because the Indian Native American reservations prohibit the building of a wall. So anyone can cross over. But that's only on the theory if Nancy was taken across Mexico. Because we don't know if she was taken across Mexico or not. Where's this News Nation report that I want to share with you about Mexico? Doherty's going to Mexico. Maybe to speak. Nancy Guthrie search goes south of the border.
The urgent search for Nancy Guthrie now headed south of the border. Sources telling News Nation that the FBI is following leads into Mexico at this point, while hundreds of investigators dig through evidence here in the United States. Let's go out to News Nation national correspondent Jess Cartalia, who is live in Tucson. Jess, Nancy's home. I mean, you do the math, you drive, it's really not that far from the Mexican border.
No, it's actually incredibly close. So as you mentioned, yeah, they are taking those leads now south of the border. Marky, a source close to the investigation, tells us here at News Nation that the FBI has contacted Mexican authorities in connection with this case. Now, this tells us that investigators are casting a wider net. They're following leads that take them across the border. So you can see on this map, Guthrie's home here in the Catalina Foothills of Tucson is just 75 miles. That's an hour-and-a-half drive to the border crossing at Nogales. Arizona sees about an average of 8,000 people coming here into the U.S. every day. Strict checks are done when you come into the country, but it's pretty easy to travel south into Mexico without being stopped. In this map of the border wall, I want to show you there's about a 100-mile stretch. There it is. That you can see without a border wall, right? That's like right along the Arizona and Mexico border. So that means someone who really knows this terrain can cross from Arizona into Mexico without having to cross at an official point of entry. It's now been 19 days, wow, it's hard to believe, since Guthrie vanished without a trace, and this footage has been their strongest lead to date. There are more than 400 members of law enforcement from 11 different agencies working on this case, and now that coordination appears to include Mexican law enforcement partners. Barky, we know that Nancy Guthrie requires medication, and in Mexico, you can purchase prescription drugs over the counter. The Pima County Sheriff, and as we know, Guthrie's family members do believe that she is still alive.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
I'm going to go back to my Nogales video because, you know, that reporter is kind of saying what we've been saying, that there's chunks of wall, that there's no border, there's chunks of spot along the southern border where there's no border wall. And it's just sneak in. Took an airplane tour up there too. Let me get this video, see if I can got it up. Right here, this is US. Again, this is just Again, if this is relevant or not, you decide. Maybe you've seen this. Just a short clip here. Hold on. Jonathan Lee Rich's investigates. I am on the U.S.-Mexican border. That is Mexico right here. This is U.S. Just west of Nogales, Arizona. The border wall has been breached. Border wall has been breached. Anyone can come through. And I'm about to show you people that are coming in right now, about to enter into the United States illegally through this breached wall. Wall goes up. Wall is incomplete. Or sectors are out. And watch this, folks. There's people coming. There's people right over here. They get dropped off. They are going to cross into the United States illegally. Look. See that? Look at this, folks. Look at this. And I've been here all morning since first light. And since first light, every 15 minutes, it seems like a vehicle parks way over there and drops about 10 people off. A group of 5 to 10 people get dropped off. And then they just walk. They just walk in. You're going to see they're going to walk right in past this wall. And there's no border patrol. There's no National Guard. There's no police. There's no authorities. There's no one out here except JLR Investigates documenting this. Here, folks. Here it comes. They just walk right in. Come on in the United States or leave. Just go under a little barbed wire, right? Get picked up. There you go. Wall, I believe, still has holes in it. There's spots that don't even have a wall at all on the southern Arizona border. From this point, they will walk up this dirt road here to the top of the hill. They all, it seems like, based off being here, they all are maybe told to go up this dirt road, and at the top, Border Patrol will be waiting for them, but there's no Border Patrol down here. In this particular area, I see a lot of children coming across. We won't even get into the trafficking stuff, but my point is, that is just, let me see, I actually think my video, more people come across while I'm making the video, but chunks of wall, gone. When people say, well, taking Nancy in a vehicle across the cartel and everything, outside the ports of entry on the other side of the Mexican side, they run the show. They run the show. And they have all types of spot, and they can do whatever they want. And there's no border wall at the Native American reservations either. So, is Nancy in Mexico? Did Nancy make her way down to Mexico? It seems like they might be going that angle now, that she could have went to Mexico. But it's more than just the port of entry. Now, if she went across Mexico, I would assume that it would targeted hit. Nancy Guthrie. Where is she? So what else is being circulated? Let's see what's going on. What else is being circulated with this case? What's the latest? What are we going to get? I'm going to head down there in a second as soon as this rain clears out. So we'll see. Nancy Guthrie investigation 6 hours ago. Former FBI discussed latest leads. News Nation. I like News Nation's reports out here.
All right, let's bring in our FBI experts now. News Nation's Tracy Walder is a former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Jim Fitzgerald and Raymond Carr are retired FBI agents who co-host the Cold Red podcast. Great to have all of you here. Tracy, what do you make of this latest note? Again, no proof of life, no proof they have her. And another demand for $6 million, this time in cryptocurrency.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth. I'm just going to echo what I have been saying about these ransom notes. I believe they need to obviously be passed to the FBI. There's no question that all of them need to be looked into. You know, it's not up to TMZ or really anyone to decide whether they're real or not. However, I think media outlets need to stop giving them the media attention that I believe these individuals probably want by sending these. Because the problem is what happens, and I think you and I have talked about this before, they get more and more and more, the more public reaction that they get. And then that ties up the investigative resources that they need to be kind of snuffing out legitimate leads. And so that's kind of where I stand on that.
And then before I turn, Tracy, what do you make of Brian Enton's reporting that the FBI is in contact with Mexican authorities about the Guthrie investigation? On one hand, it seems like it would make sense, just like, hey, have you seen her? Keep an eye out. Do you know, have you heard anything down there that might be suspicious in nature?
Well, first of all, I agree with Brian that I do not think that this is a cartel operation. However, I did say on the second need to be talking to their legal attaché office at Mexico City. I think that is necessary in a case like this, especially when they are this close to the border. I am certain they have gone through Border Patrol videos, all of their electronic surveillance to see if anything pops up. But engaging with Mexican authorities, in my opinion, is something that actually should have been done very early on in this investigation.
James and Raymond, the two of you have been using your vast FBI experience to come up with a profile on who the possible kidnapper might be. What can you tell us about this profile that you've come up with? Either one of you can start, and then whoever doesn't start can continue.
Well, we've kind of broken this down into three sections. We broke it into the pre-offense behavior, the post-offense behavior prior to the video being shown, and then the post-offense behavior once the video is shown. And when we look at the traits that they've exhibited, the behavioral characteristics, here's the individual's mission-oriented, and it has fantasy-driven behavior. Some of the things that are occurring here, you're looking at online searches that involve restraints and surveillance, practicing routes. They've done some dry runs here. There's a great interest in law enforcement and in media cases, what the media is doing. They're also hoarding behaviors. In other words, they're collecting bags, containers, tools, gloves. They use prepaid phones, burner emails, and they've been monitoring social media posts obsessively, maybe even the post of Savannah Guthrie herself.
James, what does that tell you about who this might be? And does your profile, do you believe this is connected to Savannah Guthrie? She is a nationally known television morning show host, quite famous, quite well known, quite prominent. Could this be related to her?
Sure, and I believe, Elizabeth, it was with you that Monday night after the abduction that Ray and I were on, and the first word I used with you, one of them, was victimization. And it has to look at Nancy Guthrie and every part of her family and friends of the family from there, and the work on concentric circles outward. I'm not blaming anyone in the family, but do they have friends of friends that know about Savannah's mother living there wherever she does? But if I can pick up where Ray left off, the post-offense behavior is important. And this is what people I want them to look at out there. Someone they know who's acting this way now, because his life has changed, some of it by his own doing, some not. He's experiencing observable mental strain, sleep disruption, potential for increased substance use, alcohol or stimulants, over-explaining whereabouts or creating unsolicited alibis, hypervigilance towards police presence, cleaning vehicle interiors repeatedly, disposing of bags, gloves, clothing, sudden deep cleaning of residence, burning or discarding of other items there too. So if someone recognizes this behavior, not all of them are going to match in. Look at the video. If the person has a Tucson connection, even tangentially, call the 800 tip line, because the FBI would want to talk to you about this.
This is all fascinating and helpful information. Again, this is behavior people should be, if they're observing this with someone they know in their lives, this might be a sign this person had something to do with this. Tracy, I want to turn to you in the meantime about this, the sheriff talking yet again about how hopeful he is that Google can get video from the other surveillance cameras inside Nancy Guthrie's home. He's explaining how, and he has told me he's not a tech expert, but he's explaining how incredibly complicated and complex this process is. It takes time.
Yes, I mean, that's for sure. It takes time. It can take weeks. It can take months. It can sometimes take years, Elizabeth. That's how difficult it is to get this data. And I think we're in the same position also with the DNA, because it wasn't in CODIS. And so I think the problem is now you are having to resort to these other measures that require warrants, that require opt-in procedures. All of those things make it incredibly difficult to, guess what he was saying, peel back those layers. And essentially Google is now having to go back and essentially do this backwards and manufacture this all backwards to get the point of entry of this video. And I think that's going to take a long time, if they can even get it at all. I have more promise in perhaps genealogical DNA. That's what I'm really hoping for.
But Tracy, that can also take some time. And we know that the three biggest sites that people put data into, their DNA into, have a policy of not cooperating with police. Is there any way around that?
So yes, and I'm really glad that you brought that up. Actually, you're right. It can take 8 weeks. It can take 12 weeks. It can absolutely take time. So the large sites, right, Ancestry.com, 23andMe, I think those are the ones that you are referencing. You actually have to have a warrant to get that data. And
so why aren't they getting a warrant?
So hopefully, in my opinion, I thought when they ran the DNA test through CODIS, they actually should have been obtaining the warrants, in my opinion, to get that genealogical DNA. And I hope that they already have that queued up. My hope is they already have it. The other sites, the sort of lesser known sites that don't contain as much information, actually have police opt-in procedures. So that's going to make it much easier to get the data from there. But you're right, those large sites, it's going to be very difficult. And I really hope they have the warrant queued up.
Yeah, I do too. James Fitzgerald, Raymond Carr, great work on that profile. I'm sure we'll have you back to talk more about that. But those.
All right. What do you think, folks? Weeks, months, IGG, Mexico, Chile Peterson at 2080 says there is a widespread theory in Mexico that the cartel abducted Nancy and had her in Mexico within hours. Cartel doctors will keep her alive for months under the big payday. Ransom notes are bogus. So, but here's the thing with that. The cartel or people in Mexico we haven't heard any indication that she's in Mexico. Like, wouldn't you think that the cartel or whoever had her in Mexico would legitimately start sending ransom and be separate from these other ransoms, or are they connected in any way? You really think this is a cartel hit, or somebody that did this organized to take her to Mexico, only to months later start saying, she's alive and we have her and everything like that, just hold her temporarily and suddenly pop up, kind of like an old Bin Laden video? Remember when they were all looking for Bin Laden, and occasionally once a year he releases a video showing proof of life that he's alive? I was also thinking, with the Israel-Gaza, when Gaza went over to Israel and got hostages and stuff, they just take the hostages and no one knows. But eventually there'll be like a video or a picture showing proof of life that they're alive. I mean, is that what we're going to be dealing with here? Like somebody having her right now, but kind of just laying low? And then maybe in a week or two or a month, just pop up suddenly and say, here she is. This is what we want. JLR, Shawnee820 says, I think the perp has injury to right hand, maybe from smashing cam and maybe suffering cams in back and stuffing cams in backpack. Look at video, not much use of right hand. Well, if there was a right hand injury, and I'm sure the FBI probably came up with every theory possible, from the pinky, somebody having a ring, to smashing the cams or whatever like that. Maybe they're also cross-referencing if anyone checked into a hospital to get treatment, or doctors in the United States. They think Nancy is still alive. They think Nancy is still alive. So, where is she? Did she go to Mexico? And who the heck is this guy? Because honestly, I don't think he necessarily looks like any of these perps that they detained. One of the media journalists was telling me off the record, was basically saying the reason why they snatched those two other people was three things. One, their pings, the cell phone pinged around the area at one time. Or we're talking about just I'm talking about just Carlos. It's reference to Luke, I don't know. But Carlos. Phone pinged around this area at one point. Delivery driver, and he looks like possibly the suspect. That's it. That was enough probable cause for a judge to sign off. That's what I'm told. Now, as far as Luke, I don't know. Luke's around the corner. That will be a whole other story. We talked about Kayla. We talked about Luke. Is this guy from Mexico? Here's another thing, too. CODIS, no hits, no match. We know that no hits, no match means person's doesn't have a criminal record. Luke, the guy that they were focused on over there 2 miles away, he's been in the prison system. His DNA would be up there. His DNA would be in CODIS. No match. So let me ask you something. Is the perp from Mexico? Is the perp from Mexico? And that's why he's not in CODIS. Somebody traveled up from Mexico to do this. I don't think it's Luke. Because Luke's DNA would have been a clear hit. Clear hit. It's either someone not from this country that wouldn't be in CODIS, even though someone from another country could have an extensive criminal record, but they're not in CODIS, right? I don't think they correspond with other countries. Some do, I guess, but either the person's from another country that has criminal records and crazy, or the person's from another country without a criminal record, or the person's from the United States that has never been in trouble in the law before. But here's the thing. What's crazy is, if you're not in CODIS and you literally not been in trouble before with the law in the United States, who in their right mind would do this for the first time? A first-time criminal. Of all the crimes, or maybe they commit crimes before and never been caught, But somebody, usually, you know, when you get elevated to breaking into someone's home and taking someone, you've probably been in trouble with the law before. This is not like a first-time rodeo type of thing. Well, Brian Kohlberger, though. People say in the chat, Kohlberger, first time. Criminology. Or do we have another wackadoodle like Brian Kohlberger out there that did this? Because it was part of his thesis and, you know, studies of Catherine Ramsland. You know, some wackadoodle out here that wants to do the perfect crime and wants to one-up the law enforcement. Thinks they can get away with it. Watch too much Dateline and watch too much First 48 and everyone's like, okay, well, I'll just make sure I put every single thing on me so they can't catch the DNA. I'll put my phone on airplane mode. I'll somehow change my plates or try to mess my vehicle up so even if my vehicle is captured, you're not going to capture me. The perfect crime, and I'll get away with this. Because, you know, as we learn, and, you know, I won't have, you know, Cass won't find me. They won't find me. All right, I'm getting a message right now. I'm going to spin this around. People are sending me all types of messages in reference to this case. You're more than welcome to tag me at JLR Investigates about this. Now they're saying rewards up to $300,000. Now some people are suggesting some locations to go to, so I'm looking into this. New this morning, I'm told that the January 11th, this is coming from Michael Ruiz. New this morning, I'm told that the January 11th date and specific time frame of between 9 p.m. and midnight also surfaced during an FBI canvass of Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood when agents were asking neighbors for security video. One of the neighbors canvassed then made the post on the Ring app. The FBI did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The PCSD says it is seeking video from a wide range of dates, January 1st to February 2nd. But you know what's crazy? And they're looking for footage around here from January 11th. On January 11th from 9 p.m. to midnight. But you know what's crazy? Someone in my chat, and I don't know if you guys were here yesterday, but somebody in my chat said they're friends with a Pima they're friends with a Tucson police officer that is friends with Pima County sheriff deputies who said that and was told that the perp was here on January 11th and smashed out the floodlights. Remember that? Somebody left a comment yesterday. Did the perp come here prior? Now, I posted that on Twitter. You know, I'm only going by what people are saying. You know, I don't know the truth of that. Again, when you have a large platform, people are going to say things. Some people are going to say things that are truth, not truthful, whatever like that. Hey, but that is interesting because they are technically asking people around here about January 11th. Why? Why are they asking people around here, residents, for security footage from 9 p.m. to midnight on January 11th? Does that mean the perp was scouting out the house or tried to break in the house prior on January 11th and was here and they have a feeling the perp was here? They're not telling us? If you're a media outlet and you get a chance to speak to Nanos, because he doesn't give press conferences, if you're a media journalist and you're watching JLR Investigate, ask Nanos the question, do you believe the perp came to the house prior? Do you believe the perp? Do you have any evidence that the perp was at the house prior? Ask Nanos that. See what he says. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to answer that question to protect the integrity of the investigation. I don't know. Maybe he'll say yeah, maybe it's no. Ask. If you're a journalist, I challenge you to ask Nanos, do you believe the perp was at this house prior to the kidnapping? And when we need prior dates, January 11th, just throw the name. Just throw the date, January 11th. Plus, also, the reports are, according to Google Trends, is someone was scouting out on Google Trends and Googling around about Savannah's mom and Savannah and salary. So those are three things that are interesting. January 11th seems like a key date when it comes to this case. January 11th. What happened on January 11th in this neighborhood? Did he scout around here? Did he try to break in the house then and failed? Said, I'll be back. I'll be back. We'll be back. January 11th. Is there a significant date or meaning on January 11th? So, you guys are kind of with me on this. Some of you are agreeing, some are disagreeing. January 11th, what's going on? So, someone in my chat said, you know, they heard from someone who heard from someone. I know that's second and third hand, okay, hearsay. But, you know what I mean? Person could have came here and cased the place out. Was driving around. You know, Brian Kohlberger technically did that right before he busted into 1122 King Road. According to cell phone pings, he was right around the house numerous times prior, watching the house, stalking it, stalking the house, casing the place out. You know, some people that defend Kohlberger say that's not true. His cell phone could ping anywhere just because it pings one, just because it's on the tower in one location, it could be anywhere. But he was casing the place out prior. Could we have a situation similar to this where somebody was casing the place out? You come in here for the very first time in pitch black, it's kind of reckless, it's kind of risky, and I wouldn't say it's wise at all. It is pitch black out here. You never been out here before, you're just going to come here for the very first time and just decide to go in and snatch somebody on terrain and land that you have no familiar, you're not familiar with. I'm waiting for the rain to die down. It is starting to see peaks of sun. Look, they're walking with an umbrella. Let me see the radar here. Let me also look flight radar 24 because somebody said there was a sheriff helicopter east. East of here. There was a private helicopter circling east of here on I-10 all the way over in far eastern Tucson. We always look at flight radar 24 and constantly listen to the weather. Tucson weather right now 50 degrees. We have rain all the way up to 1 p.m. like 20%, 20%. Now, also, there has been electrical work at the house, too. When did electrical work take place at Nancy Guthrie's? Early January, approximately on the 6th. Permit of the work expires on 1/6/27. What is one of the time frames? Investigators are asking for home surveillance footage from those in the area. January 1 through the 11th. When the locksmith was at the house the other day, which door did they go in? What were they doing in there? Door right behind that damaged floodlight? And right next to one of the electrical panels that was replaced? Who authorized electrical work at Nancy's home? Who authorized it? Literally. This guy's the drone guy. He has his drone on standby because of the rain. Seems like the back of the house, this is a key spot on the back of Nancy Guthrie's house. Lights busted out. Electrical work done. The back right side of her house, garage area. Who's busting out floodlights? When did they get busted out? $6 million is cartel. $6 million to the cartel is peanuts. That's a great point too. Think about this, folks. If the ransom was legit and they asked for $6 million, cartel's worth billions. The cartel is worth billions of dollars. $6 million is nothing to them. Why would they go to high risk of kidnapping? Though, think about this. Cartel might have to switch tactics here because the border is supposedly secure and less drugs are coming in, and they have to find other ways to make money. So maybe they start to resort to kidnapping. High value kidnappings to offset the loss of revenue. Now, speculation. Is the cartel still making billions right now because of the border situation with the Trump administration? Well, back then they were making billions, right? Billions. Cartel is trying to get that fentanyl and all types of things over across the U.S. border into American cities. If you plug that all up, how do you make money? But $6 million to them, if their drug trade is still active, is just a day of work. Well, why would you kidnap a human being? Why would you take a human being? It doesn't make sense. Who organized the electrical work on her house? I mean, there's permits being put out there. Or there's electrical work. Southwest corner of building. Emergency electrical panel upgrade. Currently no power at home. Old 200 AMP panel needs to be replaced. Nancy Guthrie's home. Permit expiration date 1/6/2027. Who in the heck is doing electric work? Here's the drone guy. And what's going on with the sheriff in this reality TV show stuff? Let's see if he puts the drone back up. Prayers for Nancy. So it is very easy to get across the Mexican border. That is no secret. But is that just a goose chase here? Let's see what else is circulating out there, what the media is talking about. With Nancy Guthrie. NBC today. Authorities turn to genetic genealogy. So I'm looking at NBC's reports because, you know, Savannah works for NBC, see what they put out. I do think if something breaks, they'll put things out, but they kind of like, I haven't heard NBC really go with the Mexico theory. Nanos. Keep the comments coming as we wait. Why look to Mexico when we have not searched the area here? Diary of a Ghost says, why go to Mexico when you haven't searched the area here? That's a great point. Who really searched the area here? Why go to Mexico if they haven't really done a thorough search here? Go for a walk. We'll come back to the car, but let's go for a walk a minute. Let's go see what's going on. Kind of drizzling out here. Out here, Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. Home still for sale. You would call this basically Nancy Guthrie's neighbor. Drizzling. Cold news. They're the ones that got the first ransom. Cold's out here still. Flowers got lots of water. Who's the perp? Mexico? International person? South American burglary ring? habitual criminal, creeper in Arizona, someone that traveled from out of state to do this. Who could it be? Worker on the property, someone within the family circle. Does some people still think the family's involved and the family shouldn't have been cleared? Just a wannabe burglar? Call it camera equipment. Her home. Everyone's no one's out here. Usually for the last week, every time we're reporting, there's always somebody standing out here and everything like that. It has been raining a little bit. Nobody's out here. It's like almost just like equipment left out. People still up the top of the road. Deputy's still out here. This was placed out here. That's from you. So yeah, I mean, you know, a couple days ago the cars were all the way around the corner. There's less cars here, less media here. The media's still out here. Go back to the vehicle, sit for a minute till the sun comes out. going to take a drive a minute, and I want to show you the 4-block radius here. I'll show you on the map, because another key thing in this case is why has no vehicle been released? Not one vehicle. A description of any vehicle, a vehicle detected. Why? And obviously we know the neighborhood is pitch black, but you're going to have to get out of this neighborhood. If the perp even got out of the neighborhood, you're going to have to get out of the neighborhood. And in order to get out of the neighborhood, you're eventually going to get a 4-box radius, and in each corner there is mass surveillance. They're going to be caught, but they have not released any footage. So we're going to go around it's probably about a 5-mile drive. I'm going to show it to you on the map of what we're going to do. Ask the question, where is the video of the vehicle? Ask the question, where's the vehicle? Where am I? Look on the map. I'm going to show you something here. This is where we are. Glove found on Campbell. 1 corner, 2 corners, 3 corners, 4 corners. All the neighborhoods. All pitch black. But in order to get out, whether you go north, west, south, east, whatever, you are eventually going to hit one of these traffic lights. It's inevitable. And those traffic lights, even at night, bright. You can see. And we're going to go around the whole thing and show you. We'll come back here shortly. The perp had to be captured on surveillance and a vehicle, unless, in like Luke Daly's case, stayed within that 4-box road trip. One second. All right, here we go. Perp leaves the neighborhood, the perp's going to be caught on surveillance. But yet no surveillance. Perp's coming down here at night, driving down, you're not going to see a thing. Matter of fact, tonight we're going to do a reenactment. Down here at night, you're not going to be seen. get it. We know. We know how black it is, how dark it is, even on a full moon. But you're going to have to leave this neighborhood and eventually get out onto some streets. Busy streets. Get out on some busy streets. You're going to be seen. Perp can go left, which will take you up to a light. But we're just going to go around the actual box, the whole box radius. Perp has Nancy in the car, right? Perp or perps have Nancy in the vehicle. We don't know the description of the vehicle, in her trunk, in the back seat, passenger seat. Someone has Nancy in a vehicle. They're driving through the neighborhood. No ring camera, nothing's going to detect the vehicle. Eventually, the perp's going to hit the road. For instance, this is Campbell. This is the same road the glove was found. We'll go north. So still out here, you're not gonna catch nothing out here. Moon was cresting. That night. It's starting to rain here. Again. So we'll just go north. This is Campbell. To wait for the traffic. Perp goes north. 2:30 a.m. Driving. If the perp went north. Drive up here. Eventually, you're going to hit the intersection of Campbell and Skyline. Boom. Lights everywhere. Cameras with... traffic lights with cameras. All over the place. Cameras, cameras, cameras. Lit up. Nighttime. Cameras. Cameras everywhere. Cameras, cameras. You mean to tell me no surveillance? This is one of many intersections where we're going to go around the entire box. This is just one. This would be the northeast side. No cameras? No. I mean, do they just not work? They just not work? These are all fake cameras? We're going to eventually go back to Campbell on the south side, but I'm just taking you around a major intersection radius. Fake cameras. People say fake cameras. Because that's the question that should be asked to Nanos. Do those cameras work? Or do you have an image of a vehicle that you are withholding to the public? Somebody said run a red light and find out if you get a ticket. It's crazy, I know, right? Run a red light and find out if you get a ticket. No, we're not going to do that. All right, here we go. So, perp could have went up this way, went through this intersection with lots of businesses and whatnot. We walked up here the other day. Now, we're going to go to the next major intersection because to the left of us is those neighborhoods. Orange Grove Road, left lane. Coming up, Orange Grove. Orange Grove, right here. If somehow he sneaks out of Nancy's home and makes his way to Orange Grove, lights all over. Intersection, lights. It's all bright. Let's go further. For some reason, if the perp was navigating through the neighborhoods just to the left of us, whoa, this is crazy. Dude's coming down like cats and dogs out here. We're gonna do this experiment at night. Tonight. Here's the next intersection. Ina Road. Skyline. Ina. More lights. So even if the perp was to the south and trying to get up onto here, because you're going to have to get up onto these main roads, camera lights. There's camera lights all over here. Camera lights. Other businesses lit up, nighttime. Next one will be Oracle. The perp is not going to slip through here without being seen. Next one is First Avenue. First Avenue. Don't forget First Avenue. Up here, First Avenue. Lights. Camera lights. Cameras. There's cameras all over the lights. This is First Avenue. Look at the top right corner of the screen. Lights. Lights. It's all full with lights. Lights. You're not getting out of Nancy's neighborhood without being seen. Unless they don't work. And if they don't work, why don't they work? You think there's a lot of traffic around here going around at 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., 3 a.m., 1:50 a.m.? And if the perp is navigating to the south here, getting up to Oracle here, we're going to make a left. Another small intersection here. Lights. I see camera lights all over. Camera lights. Right there, lights. Lights. Traffic lights. And now this is a major intersection up here. Oracle will be making a left. Lights everywhere. Perp goes past here. It's going to be captured unless they don't work. One more before the shopping center, which, by the way, has lights. There's lights. So, can someone make this make sense? Lights. Now this is a weird intersection. You got to actually cross it before you turn left and do a U-turn. But this intersection, lights. Video surveillance, traffic lights, cameras. Cameras. So why hasn't any vehicle been detected? Riddle me that. We're going south on Oracle. They're all over. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You can't turn left. You have to go across the street and then bust a U-turn to go south on Oracle. But not only that, but businesses. Starbucks, Whole Foods. All right, so we're going south to Oracle. We'll go all the way down to River Road. But in between, there's going to be all these roads that come from Nancy's neighborhood on the left, which takes you out. If you go westbound, after leaving Nancy's home, is going to take you to Oracle, where there's lights, surveillance. No car, no vehicle at all. None at all? Just got a shout out for Pavarotti. You broke mainstream media records. My dude, congrats. Thank you. Pointed to your coverage today. Thank you. Lights. The perp is not getting out of that neighborhood undetected. You're just not. So why haven't they shared any description of any vehicle? Because all this here would be the west. Nancy's neighborhood to the left. Go off some of these intersections, the side streets will take you into Nancy's neighborhood. The entire 4 block have lights and cameras everywhere. They don't work. No other businesses work to detect a vehicle. We should yeah, we're gonna do this at night. We're just gonna do it at night, and I'm gonna step out and we're gonna film cars driving on these main streets just to show that you can clearly see them. This is another way to get into Nancy's neighborhood to the left. That's the Chevron station. This is called Rudisill. Lights right there. Surveillance cameras at the intersection. If you go up here, the Circle K, you make a right. We'll take you to Annie and Tommaso's home. We're not going to go there. Another major intersection down here on the southwest side of that 4 block radius, River Road in Oracle. There's going to be lights all down here. We're going to make a left. Coming up. Man, it's raining. Woo! It is just ludicrous that they wouldn't have some footage of a vehicle. And yes, I am calling it out. It's literally impossible for them to say they don't have any video of some image of a vehicle. Another major intersection. Now, what I just showed you on the map, this would be the southwest corner. We're going to make a left. Entire intersection. Denny's, Circle K, Jack in the Box, lights, surveillance cameras, perp. Even if the perp took Nancy and was headed towards I-10, you're going to cross something like this. They're all over. They're all over. I get really animated on this because I think it's preposterous that we're day 19 and they haven't released any footage of any vehicle. Riddle me this. So we'll continue to go down here. This is on the outskirts. This is basically the border line between the city of Tucson on the right, and then Pima County's jurisdiction, the sheriff's jurisdiction on the left. This is like the line, the cutoff line. River Road. Hey, somehow perp sneaks out, shoots to the south. Remember, the glove was on Campbell, which we're going to go back up on shortly. There's another intersection here. There's a QT. The intersection is Stone Lane. And all on Stone Lane, cameras. So if the perp shot south, perp's gonna maybe go through here. Cameras everywhere, cameras. Plus businesses. Too much surveillance. Too much of it. Oh, they're cameras. They're on every, or do they not work? license plate readers for speeding. This vehicle would be detected. Somebody said JLR is just making stuff up. You see it for yourself. You decide. How did the perp get away without having any vehicle seen? Not only that, but businesses all along these main roads here. Which the feds, by the way, it appears was going door to door. Fox News reported that they were up on Oracle all along the area where the Circle K was. So you can just commit a crime in that neighborhood and not be detected. Is that where we're at here? Just commit a crime in the neighborhood and you're not going to be detected. This is First Avenue. See cameras all over the place. So is that the message you send to Catalina Foothills residents, that someone can commit a crime and you just will not be seen? Cameras everywhere, folks. My crazy cat says ATV. Perps walked in with tarp and backpack, carried her backpack to the ATV and got out. Probably took her back into Mexico. ATV? ATVs running around the neighborhood? Next intersection should be Campbell. We'll go back up Campbell. Now, Campbell's interesting because that could be the route the perp took because of the glove. Campbell and River Road coming up. But all along the south side here, particularly, there's so many businesses all along the route, and like apartment complex type things, corporate centers, industrial type condos. Oh, we got one more before intersection full of cameras. Hard to see here, but you can see them. Cameras. This is Via Entrada. Cameras. You ain't getting out the neighborhood without crossing any of one of these 4 major points. You're just not. You're not getting out. Turning on Campbell River Road, another busy intersection up here. So this would be the southeast side, which at this time, if the glove is any relevant to this case, the glove was found on the side of the road, it's most likely the perp came through this way, shooting south. We've been here. Cameras. You tell me what you think. We're going back to Nancy's home. So we just did a 4-block radius here. Or 4 major intersection radius here. Oh, yep. Let's go. cameras, lights. No vehicle. This is where the glove was found, on the left side. It'd be on the southbound lane. This is only about 2.5 miles from Nancy's home at this point. So the glove was found right here on the left. This is where the glove was found. Why'd that car stop in front of me? Somebody's following me. Glove was found right here. Somebody's following me. Maybe. On the left side. The black glove. Go about a mile up the road, we make a left back into Nancy Guthrie's. You're going to be seen in a vehicle. But as of today, no vehicle. Why? Unless the purple is from within the neighborhood, it never left. Now there's a few ways to go in to the left here, but we're gonna go up to the top because I don't like the dead zones, because there's cellular dead zones in there and you'll lose the stream. It's raining so hard you can't even see the mountain in front of us. And now we turn in. But even if you somehow snuck to the right and snuck through that neighborhood, there's cameras way to the east too. Avoid any cameras on these main intersections unless they don't work. Unless they somehow fooled and slipped through the net. Raining Thursday. Terrible Thursday. And here we are on Nancy Guthrie Street right here. We make a left. be there within the next 30, 40 seconds. There was more rain here today than there was the other day. It's raining pretty good today. All right, we're back. We are back in front of Nancy Guthrie home. We'll park down the street a little bit. Here we are. All right, thoughts on what I just showed you? Is it a reasonable ask why there was no surveillance of any vehicle when, in order to get out of here, you gotta cross to something major? Said traffic cameras don't record. Well, there's another question. Why? Makes no sense that we don't have any footage of any vehicle. Even with Brian Goldberg in the middle of Moscow, Idaho, there was a white Hyundai Elantra that they were eventually looking for. But you can't get any vehicle description in Pima County? None? Some people said most of the camera lights are mounted for just traffic control systems. Many of those intersections also had the round ball cameras, the round ball ones. It just it's wild. They will have to explain more about their cameras. Just don't want cameras in the area? JLR, you reps Trigger Smarts podcasters now. What does that mean? Thank you for the comment. Is there a possibility that someone in LE felt slighted from the reality show Nanos has, and this could be revenge for that? Maybe someone was excluded from being on that show. Well, let's talk about that reality show that Nanos' department is supposed to be on. Is it coincidence, or is there something up with a reality show going on at the same time? The most biggest case in the country is going on with a mystery, and there's some sort of part series of the Pima County Sheriffs? Does that help or hurt Nanos and the department with this reality show? Kimberly P., thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Very grateful for that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. True BU says, can you read the super chats from you when you're driving? Unfortunately, I cannot. But I'm going back reading some now. Lacey P., 5530, thank you. I talk too much. You rather me just stay quiet? You can mute. You could definitely mute. Dun dun dun. JLR, what about the traffic scanner days ago? Mask found first in Orange. Believe same day. The mask there. Okay, so there was a call about a week ago for a mask on First. The gentleman that came over to us when we were over at Annie and Tommaso said he saw HSI investigators near a Home Depot on First. I'm not sure if it was First in Orange, but we've never heard of anything about that mask. Remember that scanner call and said about the mask? But you would think if that was the mask used in this crime, that would have been out that they've retrieved and found a mask related to this case. But there was a call about a mask. We played the report, the call, the dispatch. I don't think anything came out of that mask. You know, at the beginning stages of this, there was people that were looking for all types of perps that were seen on surveillance, creeping around. Backpack person, remember backpack had double backpack. Oh, that person has since been clear. Creepers that were seen on surveillance in Tucson, which is to the south. But we haven't heard anything out of that. If any of those people seen on surveillance has been related to this, I think the silence shows it's nothing of nothing. Jennifer Hitchcock, 6694. Scanner call from this AM police. Thoughts, McGee Road bridgeheads. Here, I'll make a call right now. I'm going to put this on mute for just a minute. I'm going to make a call and find out a little bit about what you just said about the scanner call. Oh, Sheriff. Probably shift change. He's probably going to pull into the left. Let's see. If he does, it's shift change. Bathroom break. Yep. He's pulling into the house. Most likely shift change. Let me make a phone call right here. I'll be right back. No answer. You know, I'm staying here for now. JLR, for a one-person canopy, you can ship it all home after use. If I got a canopy, I would just probably just leave it here. I'd give it to 857 Tucson or something. The thing about the canopy is there's nowhere to put it over there right now because they have all the spots locked up. But that's something we're considering doing here. Setting up a canopy and setting up shop. Like a permanent base out here. Maybe. But there, you know, you don't know if investigators will be back here. This all could go away, and then, you know, what is the scene here? We don't know if they're going to go through the neighborhoods. We don't know if they're going to do some grid search. We just don't know what's next. Investigative tools to try to find this. Fox Business just put out a report 15 minutes ago. Guthrie leadership. Frustration reportedly brewing inside sheriff's office. Dun, dun, dun. This is coming from Fox Business. Frustrations within the sheriff's office. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Welcome back. Well, it has been nearly 4 weeks since the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The reward for any information has now doubled to $200,000 due to a monetary match from an anonymous donor. Investigators reportedly in contact now with Mexican authorities over the case. Of course, her home not far from the border. Fox News national correspondent Brian Yanis now live in Tucson, Arizona right now. Brian, good morning.
Maria, good morning. It is day 19 since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her Tucson home about 60 miles north of the U.S.-Mexico border. And we're now told that the FBI has been in contact with Mexican authorities about the Guthrie case. And while we're told that this is standard operating procedure for a case like this so close to the border, it is notable here that because it speaks to the wide net that has been cast in this investigation. Here's Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, who spoke to us this week on whether they believe the 84-year-old is in Mexico.
Any suggestion at all that Nancy Guthrie might have been taken across the border into Mexico? Are you looking at that at all?
You know, I'm sure the FBI's looked into that as well, but no, I mean, we check all the leads we have. We're like everybody else. We know where Mexico is in relationship to this, and certainly it's a possibility, but no, we have nothing to indicate that.
Now, hundreds of federal and state investigators are working this case hard. There have been tens of thousands of tips called in. The sheriff says he remains optimistic as long as these tips keep coming in. Investigators continue to analyze partial DNA found in Guthrie's home belonging to an unknown person and male DNA found on the glove some 2 miles away from the home. Forensic scientists are using investigative genetic genealogy to try to find the suspect by identifying those with similar DNA, mapping out a family tree of relatives that could lead them back to their suspect, a process that could take weeks, even months.
Anyone on Earth that has DNA could be the suspect. And then as soon as you start doing additional DNA testing, you may learn the biological sex of the person. You may learn their biogeographical origins. You know, are they likely to be from the States? Are they likely to be international? And then you can continue to narrow in, you know, do they belong to a major family group? Can you find a relative? If you
They're also...
Hey, that was Othram's CEO they just interviewed there. We remember I played the clip of we interviewed that guy at CrimeCon. That was his voice. That's who they just spoke to.
likely, Maria, to do what's called a familial DNA analysis. Arizona is one of just 16 states that allows this. Investigators can cross-check their DNA samples with a database a state database that includes those who have been arrested or convicted of crimes here in the state. So bottom line is the reward has been doubled to over $200,000. They are encouraging people to keep calling in 1-800-CALL-FBI. Maria?
Well, it's just incredible, Brian, because the motive is a complete mystery. I mean, they didn't steal anything from her home. They're not getting any money. Why take an 84-year-old woman? What are law enforcement saying about a potential motive?
Yeah, that has been a real frustrating point in this investigation, is about that, because we have asked specifically as to whether or not they believe, especially to the sheriff, Chris Nanos, does he believe that this was some sort of botched burglary? And he says that this was a targeted kidnapping. And when pushed on whether or not something has been taken from the home, what was taken from the home, they would not say. He's not saying if anything was taken from the home. He's also not saying whether or not there was forced entry. But what we do know is that there was the droplets of blood outside of that door belonging to Nancy Guthrie. That was her DNA. So obviously she was taken out of that house, but they're not being specific as to what was taken inside other than Nancy and how this person got in.
And thanks so much. Great reporting. Brian Yanis this morning in Tucson. Joining me now is former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker. Nicole, thanks so much for weighing in here. Same question for you. What is the FBI likely looking at in terms of a potential motive here, in your view, Nicole?
That's something that's of a very high priority and interest to them. But Maria, it's virtually impossible for them to determine the motive when they don't even have a suspect. They don't have a subject. They don't even have a person of interest right now. And so until that is identified, then they're going to dig in deeper. But again, the common thoughts that come to law enforcement when you see something like this, it is very rare that a total stranger goes in and does a targeted attack of this sort. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No. And so the mindset of law enforcement from the beginning is that it was likely someone close to her in her inner circle that knew her very well. But I think it's important to note that, yes, the FBI is in touch with law enforcement in Mexico. We have assistant legal attaches based out of Mexico City, and that is what they do. They have very close relationships with law enforcement there. They are right there across the border. But Maria, one thing that we know for certain, that border is sealed tight.
Yeah.
Because of President Trump. Under the former administration, I would be very concerned about that possibility. But under the Trump administration, they have got their eyes on that border so closely coming in or out of the United States. So again, is it possible that she was moved over the border? Yes. Is it probable? I would say probably not.
Great point.
Not probable.
Yeah.
But possible.
Yeah, great.
Right.
Great,
and that's,
point
again,
on
thanks
that,
to President
Nicole.
Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Our border is more secure, and we are more secure and safer because of President Trump.
Yeah.
And so again, going back to some of the other things that they've been doing, I know that there was, word that polygraphs were being done at the sheriff's office. My understanding is that those were polygraphs of new hires. They were not related to the Nancy Guthrie case. The TMZ had received a 5th ransom email, I believe, and they were asking in that email for, payment in a currency, not in Bitcoin, but in another form of cryptocurrency. Again, these are leads that the FBI has to treat seriously. Whether they are accurate, not a false flag, a hoax, it still takes law enforcement resources to do this. But Maria, I think the frustration that all Americans have right now is the lack of consistency. And as an investigator, you know that when you're doing a case, it's not only important to bring the subject into handcuffs and to return Nancy Guthrie, but you have to look at it from a legal process that when they are taken in, eventually they will be going into the court of law, likely to face the criminal justice system. And you have to make sure that your evidence is buttoned up tight. And I hate to say this, but this investigation has been bungled on many levels. Many law enforcement officers believe this, and that is going to be problematic when this person is brought into custody because, for example, look at the crime scene. It was wide open. They didn't even lock that crime scene down. It was open, a tainted crime scene. That's problematic. I think that the DNA not being sent immediately to Quantico and being sent to Florida, that probably wasn't the best investigative move. And I think the inconsistent statements by the sheriff, we all remember initially, the family was clear, and then the family wasn't clear. and then the family was clear. It's just an inconsistent statement that is very confusing, I think, not only to the American public, which this is of a huge interest to all Americans, and frankly, it's a world interest at this point, but it's confusing to law enforcement officers as well, because many people ask, how was the family cleared? What evidence came in that cleared the family? So again, this is where it comes down to the sheriff. I know that there's been a lot of discussion about potential ego, politics. You've got to set that aside when you're working these investigations. Everyone needs to be working together, all hands on deck. Many people have asked that the FBI take over the investigation. Right now, it is being run by the sheriff's office with a very strong support from the FBI. And that's where we're at right now with this investigation.
Well, that's right. I mean, why wasn't the FBI taking over from the start, and why isn't it taking over right now? I mean, is that the reason it's bungled? Because the sheriff is holding back information, which were all reports in the last few weeks.
You know, I want to be fair and I don't want to criticize, but I am just going to state it clearly that my understanding and people that I know in that area are extremely frustrated, and there does seem to be a lack of even support internally at their own sheriff's department. It's not really FBI versus the locals. It's almost internally there seems to be a lot of inner strife. A lot of people seem to have left, didn't necessarily respect the sheriff. But again, this is the time for everyone to come together. This is not the time for egos. This is not the time for accolades. And I think the other thing that's confusing is that there aren't wide open press conferences. Right now he's doing individual, media interviews.
Yeah.
It would be best if everyone was on the same page. He just has one, central press conference. Everyone can get the same data, the same information. Consistency is important. But let me rest assured, the law enforcement officers are working tirelessly behind the scenes. They are working day and night. There are literally hundreds of people from the FBI working tirelessly. That will continue. And right now it seems like, there's not a lot going on. The DNA didn't show up in the CODIS system. They're sending it off for genealogical testing. Maria, it takes one big break. All they need is one big break, and this case could potentially be solved.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Keep the faith, but keep praying, and we need to pray for Nancy.
Nicole, we are now on day 19. Do you think she's still alive?
Maria, I want to be hopeful.
Yeah.
But the again, possible, yes. Probable, I just want to keep the hope. I just want to keep the hope alive.
Yeah, of course.
Long
Nicole,
pause.
thanks so much. Great analysis as always. Nicole Parker. We'll see you soon, Nicole.
I think that was a good analysis there. The reason being is that some of the same questions we've been asking, particularly about the sheriff and the handling this case. So there could be problems within the department here. Maybe they should just hand the entire case over to the FBI. The entire case is handed over to the FBI. Read some of the comments here. Connie's hand says, if criminals from Mexico took Nancy, they could have taken her and been back to Mexico before anyone knew Nancy was gone. Kidnapping U.S. citizens for ransom is unusual in the U.S., but not in Mexico. Praying for Nancy. They could have had, say this thing happened and the perp is out of this area here by 2:30 a.m. They could have had Nancy in Mexico by 4 a.m. By 4 a.m., Nancy could have been in Mexico. Kidnappings in Mexico is very common, right? Not in the U.S. all like that, but going back to that analysis, I mean, she's saying a lot of things. Norma says, don't stop talking, JLR. I have my headphones on at work and appreciate listening to you. Again, we are, for some reason, the mainstream media feels like, or some local politicians, people feel like this is detrimental. What we're doing right here on JLR Investigates is somehow detrimental to the case. We're messing the case up by just having the discussion and speculating. I don't see how we're messing the case up in any way, shape, or form. We are doing lots of speculation. We're seeing what's going on in real time, and we're responding to what we see and speculate what it's all about and decipher through. I can't see how that is detrimental to this case in any way, shape, or form. We're keeping the conversation going. We're keeping Nancy's name out there, and people have a lot of questions. People want to talk about this case. People have a lot of opinions. People have a lot of perspectives. But some of these same people, and I put out on Twitter, some of these same, it's not all the media, because I think a lot of the media here is great, and they do appreciate this type of, content and this type of, reporting out there on the scene in real time, because they've told me to my face, many people here, many of these people that are in these vehicles here, cool with probably 99% of everyone here, they think this is the future. But there's a few of them, right, that want to sit there and focus on YouTubers and people that aren't mainstream media, maybe because we're, taking views away from them or whatever, they're jealous or whatever, but they're so focused on how we're covering this, but they're not focused on the sheriff and his handling of this case, just like that commentator said about all, from everything, from his press conferences to the crime scene not being sealed, to not giving press conferences anymore, to going to, sending the glove to the private lab. There's just so many examples. They're like worried about us, about how we're just like out here talking about the case, following what's going on, reporting what's going on, hearing the reports, and keeping Nancy's name out there. I mean, the sheriff, some people are like, well, y'all thought Annie and Tommaso did it and whatever like that, but now the sheriff is saying they were clear within days. Why didn't the sheriff come out within days? Literally within days. Like, he's literally saying, well, we cleared them within days. But then he said they weren't cleared at a press conference within those days, which led to a lot of speculation pointing the finger at Annie and Tommaso. The sheriff should have came out right from the rip when he felt they were cleared for whatever reason and said it to everyone. And I don't think Annie and Tommaso would have been focused on this at all for the last week. It's just wild. But here we are. We pay them no mind. We keep grinding. We keep keeping Nancy's name out there. We keep the hope. As she is found, safe and alive. Do I like the Mexican theory that she could be in Mexico, like that possibility? I'm 50-50 on it now. Because, but then, here's where I'm at. What's baffling me is no vehicle. No vehicle. Makes me feel like, could the perp be still in the neighborhood, someone within the neighborhood, where they don't have to go through all the traffic cams and everything? That's one. Two, yeah, you're near the border here. Hi, it should be easy to find out if all the traffic lights CCTV at the four-ways out from Nancy. It should be easy to find out if all the traffic lights CCTV at the four-ways out of Nancy's. You're basically saying easy to find a vehicle. JLR, you're on Trigger Smarts Podcast Live. Well, hello, whoever Trigger Smarts Podcast Live is, hello. JLR Investigates. Thanks for watching. Brian M6198. I bet there's some connection between local pharmacy hospital employees and family members. Mexican-American background is very high. Bet there's some connection between local pharmacy hospital employees and family members. We still don't know the name of the healthcare worker that was at the house. So again, share how you think while we are just talking about the case. We'll continue to do so. I got my other phone. I'm kind of looking at your comments coming through. I saw a car parked on Orange Grove and First on the side of the road this morning. I think somebody could have been down in that ditch there where the tunnel under the bridge where the homeless people are. Because when we were there, remember the guy was going to check it out? Just a random person. JLR, have you looked into the 911 call from last night about the potential grave near Christina Taylor Green Memorial and YMCA? So, the grave stuff people have been talking about. I heard there was an incident, but I haven't seen anything else on it. Now, how far away is that grave? And then people are also talking about the golf course too. JLR, check out News Nation's report. I think News Nation's doing a phenomenal job. Them and Fox. Here. The best mainstream media coverage here on this case has been Fox and News Nation. Period. I mean, they got the other networks here, but those ones are going around. They got the journalists that are on the ground. Sniffing around. Gathering up things. I didn't see any new news report on News Nation. I think we played the one earlier. Go south of the border. JLR, check out Flight Radar 24. Okay. Let's see what's going on Flight Radar 24. See the sky pretty empty around Tucson. Some life lights, and then, you know, in Oro Valley up that way, there's some military choppers. I guess that's, well, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is flying around down towards Marana. Who knows why they're there? Tucson weather radar. I think the rain is pretty much cleared out. It's snowing in the mountains. Check this out at Mount Lemon. It's literally snowing. Behind us, right up there, snow. Rain pretty much passed. Gone. But snow in the mountains. Gone. So it might be winding down. Here comes the sheriff. Looks like sheriff. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry about your dad, GM. S2222. My dad just died. Sorry for your loss. Horrible. Sorry. Spend as much time with your family if you can, while they're here. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, golf course too. Yeah, let me get this. I got the address of the golf course. Hold on. Somebody's saying it's 5910 Oracle Road. It's off of Rudisell. Let me just look at the terrain. Hold on. Let's see. Is there no... Oh, the Pima Wash. There's a wash there. on 5910 Oracle. But was there a golf course there? Because, yeah, there's some weird stuff there. You want to go over there? The golf course? But there's a Pima wash. It's between, it's right off of Rudisill, which is pretty close to Luke Daly's home. All right, we'll go over there. 12 minutes away. Not far. Everyone keeps asking about the golf course, so this is the one that was been provided to me, the one where possible perp, well, he says he's innocent, hangs out at. But there's also a giant wash over there, so we'll do a drive. It's not far. The rain has ended. We need to go on a road trip. Go. So everyone's saying go. Most people. We're gonna go over there. All right, so I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna spin around, then I'm gonna go Orange Grove to down first to Rudisill. But in order to get there, I have to get onto Oracle to turn there. All right, we are leaving, folks. Road trip, golf course or golf course area. Old golf course. It might be the one, maybe not. It was provided to me. Golf course.
Head toward North Mina Vista.
Let me go this way. Golf course. Check this one off. Boxes. Golf course.
At the next stop sign, turn left.
Turn left. All right, we're leaving Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood.
At the stop sign, turn left onto East Camino La Zorrilla.
Camino La Zorrilla. Got to be very careful through these neighborhoods because there's like joggers and walkers like over these hills. Speed limit is I think it's 30. Or was it 25? We're not giving up, Nancy. But also that analyst was saying, well, do you believe she's still alive or not? And she didn't say no. She just, you don't want to give up hope. But pretty much he's more or less saying no.
At the next stop sign, turn left.
So if she's not alive, she's got to be out here somewhere. But also, folks, you could, oh wait, Border Patrol. Is that Border Patrol?
At the stop sign, turn left onto East Orange Grove Road.
There's a school across the street. There's police there. I thought that was Border Patrol. I thought it had the green slip, but not that. All right, turning left. I'll stop here and make a stop here at the perps that they thought did this person of interest house up here. I'll just show you the no trespassing signs. He has a lawyer now. He's claiming his innocence. So he's right down the road here. Fox News helicopter headed towards Tucson now from Phoenix. Never seen that before. They get the heads up on breaking news. Okay, good to know. We'll keep an eye on Rescue Me. Anyone keep an eye on the Fox News chopper? I give up. Do you? Nope. So this is where I'm turning into the neighborhood right here. It's about 2 miles away from Nancy's home. This is the guy in the house and the mom, Luke Daly. This is the house that they had all the SWAT activity on Friday night, last Friday night. So that's been almost a week. Right here. Remember, the authorities had the entire block blocked off here. Well, I'm going to take you down to his house in a minute. Just show the new signs in front of his house. He has signs. There's no trespassing signs that have been placed in front of his house. I don't know where the Range Rover is. He lives in like a no outlet, almost in the back of a cul-de-sac. But yeah, somebody keep an eye on that Fox News chopper that was just shared, Flight Radar 24. I wonder what that is about. That was not there days ago. And then there's another one. Posted, no trespassing, keep out. Landscaper. So somebody was here putting up signs. He probably doesn't want anybody around the house, you know. Oh, there's another sign too. I didn't see this one either. Journalist. All right, well, got journalists behind me. And they're parked behind me. So that's probably why the guy got no trespassing signs, because people are coming around like myself and others. There's somebody parked behind me. All right, I'm gonna head out of here. yeah, they're just staying parked behind his house. They're paying. Nah, it's a journalist. I just don't know who, because they waved. I've seen them back at the house, Nancy's house. Probably following us. All right, let's go down this golf course here. That they say that this dude is affiliated or likes to hang out at. We'll put back up there.
North Camino de Michael.
We'll go this way. Camino de Michael. It's a beautiful neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would somebody with $1 million home do this crime to someone else living in $1 million home? It just makes no sense. JLR Mount Lemon. Check Bear Canyon and Rose Canyon Lake. I can go Saturday. Nancy deserves a search party, Courtney Nicole says. Courtney Nicole.
Go past East Placida de Roberta and turn right onto East Rudisill Road.
I will follow any search party. If any search party goes out there and looks for Nancy, I will be there to document. And help. And help. Use my eyes. I'm not a professional searcher, but I will follow the searchers.
Turn right onto East Rudisill Road.
I will be there in support. I have plenty of water and liquids for anyone that wants to search, if there is a search. But again, there's a lot of private property. I don't know if you can just go on people's private property to search, you know? You might have to get permission. All right, so I'm in a tight situation here. I might have to turn right because I don't think I can cross here. We're on our way to the golf course. Oh, golf course. Yes, golf course. People keep saying golf course. So I honor the people. Well, actually, I can go straight. I honor the people's request. You got to think, you know, if the perp is from around here, where's the perp going to dispose of a body? Seems like the most likely place would be like one of these washes. Somebody said private plane to Mexico. Private plane? Private plane to Mexico? Definitely interesting.
At the next light, turn left.
All right, I am right up here. Okay, so I'm at the Chevron station here. Corner, this is Rudisill. And Oracle. I'm going to be making a left.
At the light, turn left onto historic US 80, North Oracle Road.
See, this is what I was talking about, traffic lights too. These balls up there. See these on a lot of the corners too. Now, whether they're working or not, some people said landfill. Landfill. I think that goes to a transfer station before a landfill. So I got a two-step process. All right, turning. Turning left. All right, abandoned golf course will be coming up here. 0.5 miles. I got to do a U-turn. I don't know if this is a road to get in there, but it appears it's on the left here somewhere in this left stuff. It's like a giant, like, crater ditch. There's Tucson in the distance.
In 600 feet, make a U-turn at West Conmar Place. Make a U-turn at West Conmar Place, then turn right. Turn right.
I don't even know what this is. A business? Or what?
In a quarter mile, your destination will be on the left.
I can't go. I can't go, folks. It says private property. I can't go. There's a sign passing. Sorry. I can't go, but I can go up on the road and we can look down. It looked like a private road here. I'm gonna just take you out of here. I can't go down there. This is private property, but it does look like some old abandoned. I can't go down there. So it does look like an old golf course or something here. But there's a road that takes you down. Yeah, maybe I'll try to find a drone person or something. But yeah, like, it's crazy because you got Oracle, then you got the neighborhoods up there, but you got this gigantic gap in between there. Somebody said look in the barrels. Nah, nothing in the barrels except... Ugh. Yeah. See how it's like a giant hill? All right, so we'll put this on our checklist. Right down the street from the Circle K. Unfortunately, folks, I can't go in there. There's signs that say, like, right there, no trespassing. So this is, I'm up here by the top of the road. So I'm going to turn around. We don't want to get caught because we know the sheriffs are watching. We don't want to give them an opportunity to scoop us up on live. For whatever reason, because they don't like our coverage. But you can't just go on people's property like that, right? You can get permission. What's that, firewood? Free delivery? Maybe we'll ask. Here, what's that number there? 336-3366. 520-336. Maybe they own the property. Maybe we'll find the owner and we'll ask permission. Might say yeah, might say no.
Turn right onto historic US 80, North Oracle Road. Then use the left lane to make a...
All right.
Use the left lane to make a U-turn.
But there is a gigantic. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Let me pull over into this business.
1,000 feet, make a U-turn.
Let me go up here and pull into this business here. Because all this is like, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if we can look at. Is this like a park or something? Look, here it is. Yeah, it's like an old golf course, man. Here, I'll park. We can overlook it. I mean, this is a business. Or some sort of business or something. I don't know. Like corporate centers. Let's go look here. Dude, it is an old golf course. Look at the old 4. There's the holes. There's like an 18-hole golf course. Four. At this point, you should see if there's any familiar cases to Nancy. There's Tucson. It's par 3. So what it appears is Oracle here, next neighborhood here, just a gigantic hole, and it's down there in the hole. And it's land down here. It's an old abandoned golf course down there. Someone could get the owner and ask for permission to search. I will be more than welcome to do it if someone knows the owner. You know, some of these people that own property probably wouldn't mind if you asked them. Like the guy yesterday asked the neighbors if he could search on the property for Nancy, and one neighbor said, "Yeah, go ahead." That's what he said. So we started going around looking. You'd be surprised how many people want to help. Now, some people are very territorial and be like, "Get off my property," whatever. No. But others, all right, we're driving. We'll try to find the owner. Nancy could be, I mean, you gotta think in a sense, you know. I mean, I know a lot of people might be like, we got never, you know, she's alive, she's held in a warehouse, but you also have to be open-minded to the fact that she could also be buried or in the woods or dumped somewhere within close to her house. As sad as that sounds, but you know, we're having adult conversations here. I have to wait for traffic to get out. Go rent a Jeep. No, this one's good. This Ford's good. I'm getting a Nissan Kick later. Switching cars up tonight. Getting a new vehicle. Nissan Kick. All right, so you can go back to Nancy's this way on Rudicell, right here, but I like the other way on Orange Grove. So I'm gonna go up here and make a right. Oop. Pav just gave you a shout out. You are our Walter Cronkite, JLR. Thank you. Who's Pav? P-A-V. How many people have we interviewed since we've been probably interviewed 50 plus people? People say the entrance to the golf course is on Rudisill. However, well, I'll go south. I'll turn it right on Rudisill and see if there's an entrance. But I'm sure it's going to say private property, no trespassing. We're not going past any signs that say no trespassing. Business parking lots, I have no problem going. I mean, if they don't want you there, they'll tell you to leave. But that's not trespassing. You have the right to be there until they tell you not to, because it's open for the public. But when they have signs and everything like that say no trespassing and stuff, I wouldn't go past. Like, what's his name? Luke had signs all over his front property. You can't say you don't know unless you're blind. But it's not against the law to lock up the door either until told to leave. You get a trespass warning. All right, I'm on Rudisill now. People said there was an entrance on Rudisill. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here it is. Oh. See? Someone pulled out. Hey, hold on. Hello, do you live here?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Good.
We're looking for permission to look for Nancy Guthrie.
You looking for who?
Nancy Guthrie, the missing 84-year-old woman. Everyone's searching, and a lot of people are saying maybe she was dumped on a golf course.
Well, no, not here.
Has the authorities came here? Ask you anything?
No.
No. You mind if I look? Or is that okay or not?
So what are you going to do? Go look through all the
Just,
buildings?
no. Just outside. Just walk around a little bit. Look around.
Go ahead.
Thank you. What's your name?
Heath.
Heath?
Yes.
Thank you, Heath.
Yeah.
What's your dog's name?
Sheba. Sheba.
Sheba. I love dogs.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll just be like 10 minutes. I'm just going to look. Have you heard of her?
I think I have, yeah.
But no authorities have been here.
No.
Crazy. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And then you can, it's 55 acres, so it goes all the way down to the pool house.
Goes down to the pool house?
Yep, so we got renters down there at that home. They're not going to appreciate anybody kneeling around down there. Clubhouse you can look at.
Okay.
I'm throughout all these buildings all the time, so we haven't seen anybody.
Thank you.
So,
You're a blessing. Thank you.
Okay,
I'll be out shortly,
Good
though.
luck.
Thank you. There you go. We just got the permission. That is crazy. How crazy is that? How ironic. That's like the power of God. Basically, we were pulling up saying we don't have permission, and the owner just said, you can come. The owner, his name is Keith. And he had his dog. That was the owner. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. Look at this, like an old golf course here. He said it's 55 acres. We'll park right here. You guys want to go for a walk? Might as well do it while we're here, right? Let's look for Nancy. That was awesome. For real. I mean, that was like the stroke of luck. We were like, we need permission. Let's find the owner. And the owner pops up in front of us and is like, yeah, go ahead. You all heard it. All right. Let's go. Owner said, yeah, go ahead. We appreciate you, Keith. I think it was Heath or Keith. And he had a dog named Sheba. All right, let's go look. Put this in. We're going to go for a walk. Golf course. We're going to look for Nancy. How's the reception out here? Good? So this is an old golf course here. mean, you say you can look around the buildings and everything if you want. He also said he rents it down here to some people. But yeah, look at the golf course. Look, 4. Now, I don't think she would be in any house, but did somebody drive down here in the middle of the night and dispose of a body? Investigate and question the major and minor towns. The FBI know and follow you with a drone, Brian says. Thank you, Brian. Somebody in these towns might know something, the border town. The teddy bear there. All right, so let's just kind of like look around here. So what this is a golf course tucked in between like ponds. Let me get the map here. Look at this. Somebody said in the chat this is a waste of time. I'm not necessarily sure about that, considering it's an old golf course, considering that a body could be out there near Nancy's, and you got to look at places where someone feels they could, a criminal, dispose of a body. Yeah, there was a dumpster there. I'm going to look in that dumpster. Never know. But a drone would have been cool. But you could go on the road and fly a drone over here easy too. So we could find someone with a drone and come back. I'm gonna look in the dumpster because people are like, dumpster, dumpster. I appreciate the owner. I'm gonna send him a bag of coffee. Dude, there's a suitcase there. But he also said law enforcement has not been here. Any evidence of this? Yeah, be careful. It's cool out here. Nothing. Ugh. Oh, man. Oh. Dude, that thing stink. All right, so where am I? Let me see. So we're right here at this golf course here. It's 55 acres. I'm at the top side. Rudisell and Oracle. And there's over here, it's the Pima Wash. Oh, somebody said open the suitcase. Eh. It's empty. There's nothing in there. I can kick it and feel it. Yeah, go to the wash. I think the wash is over here. It said the Pima Wash. See, there's like tire tracks and stuff like that. I'm just thinking in the perspective of somebody coming here disposing of a body. Hope the reception's good out here. Or it's fairly decent. Let's see. Got my other phone here. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, we're good. I'm gonna go down here to the wash. There's so much land though. This was a good idea. To at least kind of just do a preliminary look. Asked the owner for a golf cart. Yeah, he dipped out, but four-wheel. So this appears to be like the wash area. Let me go over the map. Where am I? So this is the wash. So I'm going towards the wash there, but it trickles down. So I'm going to go south a little bit and intercept and go into this wash. I'm not going to go through the bushes here. I'm going to go down towards the wash. Looks like the wash crosses right over. So like right over there, a wash, and then it crosses over here, it appears. There's an old building or something here. Use the mouth light. Here's the wash. I think the Yeah, I'm gonna go look over here. And you got to think of a criminal perspective. I think anywhere within 5 miles of Nancy Guthrie's home is fair game, a particular place to dispose of a body. Abandoned lots, abandoned property. Look at this thing. It was like an old... It was crazy. Dude, my feet are soaked. There you go. We got the permission from the owner. Dude, that looks like a walk, like a bridge or something over there. Let me go over here. There's so much land, so if I'm missing something, let me know. Alright, this is... I'm not going to go this way. Whoa, what is that? There's like a homeless camp in there or something. Like tents and tarps or something. Yo. Anybody here? It's like a tent. Anybody here? Hello? 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 Ew, it stinks. I don't see anybody in there. No, there's nobody in there. That's creepy. It's a tent. There's water bottles. So I think people slept back here, like homeless people. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to get a brand new pair of shoes. Dude, I literally wear $20 shoes for this reason. My feet are soaked. Yeah, there's nothing in the tent. It's crumpled down. I just looked. There's nothing in that tent. I could see it from the top. There's nothing in there. I don't even see the recent footprints, but I'll look again. It's right here. Nothing. Another day. All right, I'm getting towards this wash in this basin here. Where is Nancy? Footprints. I made it to the wash. I'll follow the wash down. Yeah, watch out for snakes. Yo, that owner was cool, man. I appreciate that. Look, it goes all the way down. We'll go up to Rudicel and we'll walk back. It's like a wash basin. Now this, I think, is public property, because usually when you have these type of rivers and streams and washes, no one owns them. But I'm not sure. No, I am literally, my eyes are zeroed in on. But and here's another thing about this case. We don't even know what Nancy was last seen wearing. They won't reveal it. Even the night she went out to Annie and Tommaso's, they will not reveal the last known outfit. She could be very well be in the same outfit that she was last seen with Annie and Tommaso, and the authorities will refusing to release articles of clothing that she was wearing, at least what she was wearing at the time. She could have changed into a nightgown, whatever. We don't even got that, which is crazy. Yeah, look for smells, look for vultures. At this point, there wouldn't be vultures anymore, would there? What is this? Dude, my eyes are peeled everywhere. I wish 857 Tucson was with me, because it would be an extra set of eyes. Look at this. But the fact that sheriffs never even searched this area, which is near Nancy's, I mean, you would think they would have searched these areas where there's a possibility where the people put bodies. This is weird. This is like step. Somebody made this. There's like a walkway going to someone's home. Look at this. Dude, it's a walkway. like those homes on the top of the hill, I guess they have a little walkway. They come down to the wash. Crazy. This is all, so this will eventually get up to Rudisill. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. I see Rudisill up here. So I'm going to just go up here briefly and then turn around back and go towards the golf course. I'm just going through this wash here. Now here's another thing too. Buried. Oh, it smells around here. Dude, I smell something bad. Where's that coming from? Let me go up on this hill a minute. Dude, something smells. Ugh, where's that coming from? Yeah, follow your nose. Look at that guy's walkway to get down here. The steps from that house. Listen, I know some people in the chat are saying someone has a drone. Listen, I don't know if other people are allowed on the property. They're going to have to go get approval. Or I don't know if they could just come on the property. Again, I got approval. As far as anyone else, I would strongly recommend speak to the owner for coming on the property. I can't just invite anyone else without really approval. But if anyone has a drone, they can fire the drone off from the road and easily get in this area. If anyone has a drone, go to the road, go to the side of the road, go to Rudisill and park on the side and put a drone up. stinky. Oh, smell. It's just a nasty stench. Camp. If any news comes on Nancy too, share that, we'll go look on. In the meantime, I'm up here. I think this is the road here, Rudisill. I think I made it to the top. We're gonna work our way back down. It's 55 acres. What's crazy out here is it's all these, like, the land ditches. Here's Rudisill. Right here. This is Rudisill. Look at all this. But also, you know, a perp, if they were going to dispose of a body and dump it on the side of the road, they're going to dump it maybe just a little bit right here. What we got. What in the heck is this? Where is Nancy? Dude, this land is nuts. Again, the owner gave me permission to be out here. Signs, no trespassing.